Luck has nothing to do with it. You need to work for it. And sometimes these things are not what we really want to hear. All right, guys, so welcome to today's DDOA. A little tough love, a little hard talk for today. And it's me, I'm back. Tracy Chalmers here with you, and I hope you've all had a fantastic day since I saw you last. So let's talk about this today. Today's DDOA is a little bit tough love, and it's coming from a few coaching sessions I had yesterday, mentoring people inside this amazing community, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to chat with it on today's DDOA, your 15 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education to help you get your business going and rolling and kicking some butt. So let's talk about luck. You know, I want to tell you a little story. Hey, Wendy, you're hopping on from SoCal. Nice to see you. Yes, please check in with me when you're hopping on. We haven't met before. I'm Tracy, and I do really want to give you a shout out and say hello. So do check in. Hey, Michelle, nice to see you from the treadmill. Not a girl, right on. Yep, I was doing something similar a few hours ago. So I hear you, sister. Good job. So, tough love. You know what? Let's talk a little bit more serious about this today. And, you know, it may not be easy to hear, but it's stuff we need to hear. And I do want to tell you a little bit of a story around this, okay? And, you know, this story isn't unique. It's not a one-off. Hey, Debbie, nice to see you. Thanks for checking in. And I would bet that many of you are coming from stories like this yourselves, or know of someone. This isn't an unpopular, and sadly, it's a very common story. So when I was a kid, I'm getting a little real and raw with you here, a little vulnerable to let you in, you know, just a little glimpse inside my life and my upbringing. But when I grew up in a poverty type of family, very low socioeconomic upbringing, and I grew up with the impression, like many children do, because we're children, we believe what our parents tell us, we believe what our family tells us. Hello, Tomas. Hi, Cindy. Nice to see you both here. You know, I grew up believing what my parents and my family and, you know, the social circle they had, you know, about luck. And your ability to move forward in life and your lot in life and where you are and the type of jobs you have. I heard time and time again, and you know, check in with me here. Let me know if you can relate to this, because I would bet the vast majority of us can. I heard constantly that, well, you know, it is what it is. You know, oh, look at all those lucky people over there. We're not one of the lucky ones. You know, we're not lucky. This is just how it is. This is what we have. You know, I'm just trying to think of some of the lines that I remember hearing as a kid. Let me know if you can relate. Give me a hashtag relate. If ever you have heard this from your own family, perhaps in your upbringing, or from friends, or, you know, just social circles that you're aware of. I grew up believing that luck happened, and that you were either lucky or unlucky. And what happened to you in your life was all based on luck, and it had nothing to do with anything other than luck, right? So you can relate, Cindy, totally. So you're getting where I'm coming from here. So stay with me, you guys, because I want to talk about that. You know, and it wasn't until, oh gosh, probably approaching high school that I started to kind of get a different idea of what luck looked like. And I realized that, you know, things, you know, people and situations and environments and careers weren't just luck, and you didn't have luck, or you didn't have luck. I started to believe that there's got to be a way of making your own luck. So that's really what I want to talk to you about today, okay? So sadly, a big part of, sorry, my dog's at my feet and he just jumped, he scared me. He just like, so I really think that a big part of the issue our society has today, and I'm not talking our community, I mean our society in general, is that it really does have a lottery ticket mentality. We have that instant gratification society where when we, you know, click on a website or click on something, we want it now. When we turn on the TV, we want it now. We want to go to a movie now. We want, fast food delivered now with Skip the Dishes or whatever delivery system you have in your area. We have an instant gratification society. We want stuff now. And we have a tendency to think like a lottery ticket mentality. Whereas, we're just either lucky or we're unlucky. And, sometimes luck is only for those people over there and, luck isn't for me. So those are issues that I see a lot. And especially when I'm working with clients or, folks in our community, sometimes we need to shake ourselves out of that mentality. I've come to believe, and this thinking came around about high school for me. Let me know, put the age in the comments below when you started thinking this way. But I started to believe around the age of 16, 17 that people make their own luck. And let me know if you agree with that. Put your age in the comments when you had that realization. Maybe you've always had it. Or maybe you came to that realization later in life. But I want you to drop that age in the comments because I think this story and this feeling and this thinking, this mentality is very common to many of us. So I have been reading The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. But I want to read you a little excerpt from page 83. And I'm just reading right out of my book here, so bear with me, okay? And it's a really interesting thought, and I wanted to draw this to your attention. Okay, you're not sure when you realized it, Annette, but you do realize it, right? Yeah, and Cindy, in your 40s, exactly. So, we make our own luck, and that's the reality of it. So this is why I wanted to read this to you. He says on page 83, the truth of breakthroughs and lucky breaks is that, yes, they do happen. So he's talking about thinking about, the kid who ends up coming from a poverty area, a poverty community, and ends up, being an incredible athlete and makes it to the big league. So that's what he was referring to earlier in the book. And that, yes, those things do happen, but they're very few and far between, right? So he goes on to say that lucky breaks, they do happen, but they don't happen out of thin air. They're grown like a crop, planted, cultivated, and ultimately harvested. The problem is that our culture, we've been trained to think we can skip over the middle step and leap directly from plant to harvest. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Many of us here in the MLM circles that, just you're planting seeds, you're planting seeds, you're planting seeds. And then suddenly when, people aren't joining your team or buying your product, you're like, wait a minute, I planted those seeds and I didn't get anything to harvest. Well, the reality is you probably missed that cultivate section in the middle, right? That's what's really, really important. It's cultivating your growth, cultivating your success along the way. Fernie mentions this a few times, and if you were at No Excuses back in June, you would have heard him talking about training wheels. And, we talk about this all the time inside this community because training wheels, that stage of your learning, that stage of your growth is really critical because we just don't start being amazing. And we certainly aren't just happening upon luck. We are riding our bicycles with training wheels. And Fernie's analogy is cute. He talks about, gently the parent is kind of wheeling you along on your training wheels. And then over time, maybe your training wheels are lifted a little bit. I remember mine were lifted a little bit and you're kind of a little teetering and you're going to take a few tumbles and falls along the way, right? And then you get back on that bike and you keep practicing. And then over time, those training wheels are off. And you're on your way. But you're still gonna have a wipeout here and there. And that's gonna happen. So that to me is very symbolic of our process here. We stumble, we fall, we get up, we dust ourselves off, and we get back on the horse, get back on that bicycle, right? And we need to continue to cultivate and harvest at the end. So success doesn't just happen. It finally happens after a lengthy accumulation of mundane, small, baby step tasks and effort along the way. So when you're looking at your DMO, think about all the mundane, little unsexy, boring things that you can do day in and day out that will help you create your own luck. All right, so DMOs are very, very important because it will keep you on that path. Think of that as kind of cultivating your business, if you will, because it's those little things every day. And Jeff Olson talks about this in the book, The Slight Edge. And Fran, yeah, it's a life changer, this book. Totally, I agree completely. It's a fabulous book. So he talks about, it's all those little daily things that happen in your daily method of operation that will help you create the luck. And you know what? Those overnight successes that we perhaps see in our community, they're not so overnight. Don't fool yourself. They are folks that have over time cultivated, stayed true to those daily methods, stayed true to those mundane, unsexy, boring, easy not to do tasks day in and day out to move their businesses forward. All right, so I want you to set yourself up with the right expectations. Luck doesn't necessarily just happen. It maybe happens occasionally, but it often comes with a lot of work, a lot of background work that you don't see happening. So if you can prepare yourself for those mundane tasks to cultivate what you know is working, those are the things that will move your business forward. So set yourself up with the right expectations. Incremental progress, okay? Training wheels, lifting them up, taking one off, riding on your own. Incremental progress. Posting an ad, tweaking the blog post, tweaking the ad, evaluating the metrics, retweaking, juggling, congruency, all of those things to move your business forward, to make those incremental little steps forward, okay? The results may not come right now. Think about the leaders in this community. Our results did not come overnight. It may appear that they did, but boy, it came with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of testing, not a lot of luck, but a lot of work, right? And I want you to celebrate every little small result or area of growth. If you suddenly have an ad that people are clicking on and responding to, celebrate that. That is huge. It is huge. And that wasn't luck. That was your hard work. That was your work that went into tweaking and adjusting, evaluating and analyzing that ad copy or that blog copy or your audience. Celebrate that because you did that work. Okay? So consistent, determined, compounding intentional actions day in and day out is what's going to create your luck. Does that make sense? Wendy says, luck is a 4-letter word that should be replaced with the words plan and work. That a girl? I like that. I like that. Right. Because it's the consistent, determined, compounding, intentional actions that allow you to have that kind of luck. Right? So test, evaluate, tweak, adjust, do what you need to do to create that luck for yourself. Everyone inside this community, I'm just getting a bit emotional, but everyone inside this community can have crazy, huge success. We all have access to the same tools. We all have access to the same tactics. You're taught the same strategies. It's right there waiting for you. Are you going to create your own luck? It's what you do every single day that makes all the difference. Okay? So hoping and wishing for luck is not a strategy. Go out and make your own luck. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. Have a fantastic weekend. It's been my honor to chat with you again today. Sorry I got a little emotional on that. But yeah, have a fantastic weekend, and DDOA will be back next week. Talk soon. Bye.